What's up, Dustin?
How's it going?
Man, it's pretty chilly and rainy.
It's the same exact here. And we are in
Yeah.
Louisiana tonight.
Where you at?
We're
Philippines.
we're actually on Cross Lake where the tournament was originally planned for, and then you heard they moved it to the Red River, so we're right on the lake. And when I say the lake, it's flooded, so they've shut the lake down all the way up to the porch. The water's here. When we drive to the cabin, we have to drive through water. Probably mid tires, maybe even over the tires
Oh my.
that get here. So hopefully, if it keeps raining, we might be in trouble in the morning.
Well, thankfully we didn't got that here. Hey guys, I'm gonna give it a few more seconds. Let some more of you guys pop on here. I think we got about 19, 20 right now on, but I'm gonna give it a couple more seconds, and we'll get today's bite kicked off. Hey, chime in. What's it doing at y'all's, folks? What you doing at your house tonight? I know we got a rainy, cold night here in Ridgeland, Mississippi.
Oh yeah, John Mayo, how's it going, brother?
John,
Didn't take him long to be popping up on there.
hey Charles, appreciate it. Come on, guys. Thanks everybody joining us again as usual. We got some good things lined up. Got a little surprise for everybody coming in to Grizzly Jig. We'll talk about here in a second. Hey Drew, how's it going? Hey Jim, I used some of your jigs today, Jim. Caught some fish too, man. Look at my Facebook. We got them out there. Hey guys, there's Tim. I know I'll see my buddy Tim here in a couple of days up there, Grizzly. There's old Jimbo.
Seems like it's cold and rainy everywhere.
It is, man. I guess it's a big major front running around everybody.
Larry Lee, how's it going, Pops? That's a good buddy of mine. I just seen him last weekend at the Crappie University.
Well, that's awesome.
Yep.
All right, guys, I'm going to kick out today's bite and kind of give you the lowdown what's been happening with me today. I did a guide trip today, and luckily enough, we got on the water before all this wet stuff come in, and we wound up with a really good day of fish. We had probably, I'd say that was 6 pushing right at 2 pounds, might be a little bit over. So
I'm needing those 6 fish.
So we had a real good day, but my today's bite happened, and it's no secret fishing around here. You got to look for when we have a lot of rain, like we have the last couple of days. You got to look for eddies and slack water, and that's exactly where I fished today. Is some eddy water that was well known. Call the Welfare Hole. I'll let the bug out. Wasn't that many boats out there today. Might be after I let the bug out.
But yeah, you'll regret that one.
Yeah, it was. Nobody was in there with me. I think we've seen about 3 or 4 boats maybe today, and fish stacked in there, just getting out of the current. And my main thing, and it has been for the month of January and really December, is sticking the baits in the crappie's face.
Oh yeah.
Very rarely a small fish might come up and chase it down and bite it, but these fish for last really December and January, you've got to put these baits right in their face. There's Chris Lovelace. He's out there with me today. He smacked them pretty hard too.
He said it'll be crowded tomorrow.
Yeah. Chris was in there today with me as well, so he knows what I'm telling you straight up.
How many so you caught 6 2-pounders. So how many did y'all clean?
Yeah. I didn't clean any.
Oh, good man.
Yeah, I didn't clean any fish today.
That was a good trip, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was awesome. I didn't clean any fish today, but we had a real good day, guys. They were first time ever using live scope, and like I said, the key today was putting the presentation right in the fish's face and letting it sit. And actually, at that point, after it's sitting in their face, I would kind of bounce it and bounce a little bit. And as soon as I seen the fish make some kind of motion like it's seen it, I would start raising the bait slowly away from them.
And how deep of water was that?
Most of these was in 17 to about 22 foot of water, and these fish are anywhere from 10 foot to about 14 foot deep. And water temperature, I think, was around 47 degrees, 46. Felt like 26, but
what was your water clarity?
Muddy. muddy
Really?
water.
Real
And
muddy.
I took out my boat, my particular setup today, and had some guys the other day ask me how I'm rigging my weights on my line. And this is just a plain out egg sinker. That's a 1/2 ounce. And I've got 2 bobber stops on the top end and 3 on the bottom with a little bead right above the bobber stops. And then I'm going to drop down about, say 12, 14 inches to my actual bait. And this was a 1/8 Moglo hook. And like I said, it's just a white color, glow in the dark with a 2-inch slab slayer, orange and chartreuse. And this is a jig that we caught fish on today. So this is, it's kind of beat up a little bit, but in a good way. But that was my color today. We tried some other colors, and we could get some bites, but my today's bite, that's my setup. That's what I caught them on. And hey, we winded up with a good mess of fish, and we got the job done to say.
So your water clarity wasn't much. It's muddy. And
Oh yeah, deep. Super muddy, super cold for them.
A lot of bait fish.
A fair amount actually, and it's the same scenario that we talked about just about every week. And you found a lot of bait fish, and it was crappie mixed in the bait fish, but they're hard to pick out when there's so much action going around at that point.
Oh yeah, I'm just taking notes because I'm here on the river, and it's kind of the same exact setup you're talking about. Mm-hmm. But as far as Grand, I'll give you a report for Grand. Still suspended roaming schools of fish. Thankfully, we don't have that super muddy water, so they're not scattered out as much. They're starting to school up, and the schools are just going to keep getting bigger and bigger until probably March or so. So we have a whole nother month of chasing roaming fish in the coves, around the channel, in the channel, a little bit of everywhere. Throw your trolling motor down and start looking. They're starting to get a little bit more aggressive. It will also pick up as well when this weather quits being crazy. The slab hunters are my favorite to just cast over the school and drag across. Bleeding shad aren't in the slab hunters, but a bleeding shad in the baby shads work right. just as good as the slab hunters. But Duck Creek, since we're giving out areas, Duck Creek on Grand Lake, guys, if you go put in a Duck Creek and fish that arm, you will have no problem finding crappie. It is plumb ricked full of fish. So just look in the middle, even around the marinas, a lot of fish just roaming around, chasing bait fish, and just throw the trolling motor down. Like I said, it's going to kind of be the same story for another month or so. And then we'll get into, they'll start scattering out and getting ready for that spawning pattern. But for now, it's still winter. And like you guys are seeing with this weather, we got a little bit left of it because I don't know where it's how cold it is where you're at, but we just got, an inch or so of ice anyway in Tulsa when I went to Ken's to come here, and it was just a mess of terrible weather. And then I guess they got more today in Joplin and stuff. So I'm sure it's just nasty out there. Not many people were probably out today, I'm sure.
Yeah. Anybody else got a good today's bite report? Hey, shoot them up there. I know I see there's John Mayo. We know he's going to come through there for us.
Oh, yeah.
That joker fishes every day, I think.
He said there's still sunbathing. Water is rising and fish are moving shallower. Water temp is upper 40s. That seems to be upper 40s is a pretty common water temp here.
John, when you're talking about moving shallow, kind of give us that depth range. And beside the big four, key us in a little bit closer to that bite. I'm sure it's probably Sardis would be my guess, but
my goodness, Greg Robertson, he's around Beaver Lake. He said another 1/2 inch more ice tomorrow night. So see, this cold weather ain't done. It looks like we're going to get a lot more of it. Like I said, it'll keep this winter pattern going for us where we're around. It'll keep those fish tightened up in the school, following bait fish around. Yep. And then when we start getting warmer nights and everything starts warming up, that's when things will start heating up.
I got a question from Gregory Harris on YouTube. He said, Brad, do you recommend long lining pre-spawn? And the answer is absolutely yes. I love to pull jigs, pre-spawn fish, even spawning fish I will. But pre-spawn is an absolutely fantastic time to pull jigs. Maybe not in this cold front that we got right now, but definitely pre-spawn in general is a great time to pull jigs. Bobby Man, Eagle was tough Saturday. You know, he fishes Magnolia Crappie Club, and
Oh
you
yeah,
know, I heard it was tough over there. They, you know, Aubrey Stoney won it, and I think he had about 14 pounds. Seems like, which is a good stringer considering how hard that lake was to fish. I'm hearing.
right. I reminds me to give a shout out to Richard from Wichita. We booked a trip off of this live deal. He'll probably be watching on YouTube right now. I'm sure he is.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations to him on catching a 3-pounder. So we
Well,
watched. He watched the live on a Tuesday, seeing that I was on it around the Kansas area, and we booked a trip for that Friday. And he caught a 305, and that was the biggest fish we've caught this year. First 3-pounder of the year, and we just did a live scope training trip. He brought his rig, his boat, and I just kind of tried to show him the best way I knew how to use it. And we just so happened caught a giant, but that was not our goal. And that's when it happens usually. Was our goal was to learn how to chase these Roman fish we're talking about, get in the channel, and follow the bait fish around and look for fish suspended. And we had a heck of a time. But Richard, shout out to you. I told you I would. So
hey, what was that pattern? That just go ahead and spill the beans all the way.
Yeah, it was Elk City in Kansas. Speaking of being loaded tomorrow, but we were chasing fish in the channel and just off the side of the channel, anywhere around bait fish mainly, and Roman fish, just like what you explained, the 12 to 14 foot range in muddy water. It seemed like we had to go super small though. I believe he'd have to correct me, but I think he was using a hair jig, a all silver hair jig, and he was dropping it down. We tried several different little baits, but like I said, we were on his setup, his rig, and I think what got the big one was a little silver hair jig, but golly, we threw the kitchen sink at him because I'd say 1 every 5 to 10 fish would eat. I mean, we had to drop on a ton of fish to get them to eat. And then at the very end of the trip, we found a huge, almost standing tree, but it was a laid down, really big tree in the middle of a channel, like 30 foot of water. And there was crappie not on the tree, but they were off of the tree, just suspended off of it in a single file line. And man, for 30 minutes to an hour, he was just picking fish off, and it was a blast. He ended on, I think, probably one around 2.5 pounds. It was just an epic trip for him to come down. So, yeah, shout out to him. Like I said, he loved this little show. I told him I'd say something about it. So if you guys go to GFB Outdoors on Facebook, look it up. That first picture, if you scroll down, that first picture, that's his fish, the big one of that trip. We didn't clean any as well. We just threw him back, trying to do our part, but it was a blast.
You know, I got another question. I definitely want to answer your guys' questions if you have any, and you can shoot it to me or Dustin. And between the two of us, either we can tell you hopefully how to do it, or we can making it up enough to pass it over. But
you bet. Oh, here we go. We got a couple good ones. Josh Bower just gave a fishing report, and I actually FaceTimed him while he was catching these fish. But 41 degree water, throwing a bobber 5 foot deep with a 32nd ounce pink jig head with an itty bit, and he had the thread fin on. Let me see here. I just lost his comment, but he had the thread fin shad on with an itty bit pink head, and he was throwing a bobber, and these black crappie were schooled up just 4 or 5 foot below the surface, and he absolutely was waxing them. So that was a sweet report right there. I appreciate it, man.
Definitely, when you get those kind of reports and you don't mind sharing it, hey, post those good pictures up, even on the live later on. Let everybody else see it, man.
Heck yeah, he's got a good one.
Brad Egger's got a question about what's your starting speed for jigs and crankbaits? You know, on long line and jigs, my starting speed is, and a lot of guys probably going to know what I'm going to say here, but it's going to be 1.2. I start them really fast, and if I need to, I slow them down. I kind of do the opposite when it comes to jigs. I want to cover as much water as possibly in the shortest amount of time. So I'm wanting to cover a lot of water. So I'm going to start at 1.2. And if I got to work down, I'm going to work down on speed. Crankbaits, you know, my favorite speed to start at is probably going to be 1.7 to 1.8. A good bit faster than the jigs. And I usually don't even start pulling crankbaits to late May, early June. Now jigs, I like pulling them really anything over 45. Now today I don't think that would work, but that's my starting speeds.
Yeah, I was going to say, when they get really lethargic like this, I bet it would be very challenging to get them to chase a bait when you have to hold it on them like that.
Yeah. Hey, Duck, he got a good today's bike report there. Good bike going on.
Carlos got to be catching them somewhere. I know he is.
There, we got another. Oh, that's the one you were talking about. Wow. Yeah, Josh, post those pictures up, buddy. I'd like to see that.
I actually, when I FaceTime, he got a hold of me. I start talking to him, and I don't know what my jinx is, but it's the second time that he's lost one over 2 pounds that I've been on the phone with him. Last time we fished together, I grabbed this string to try to help him hoist the giant over, and it come loose like a rookie. Broke the line.
Slab Buster from Alabama, he's saying, not a fan of the month of January. Weather is always crazy and fish acting funny. Always my worst month.
Slab Buster, I can agree with that one, brother.
You know, and tonight's title for our show comes into play, I guess, with that is, you know, some of the lessons that we've learned in the month of January. You know, my main thing that I think I've learned more than any other year that I can recall is a slow presentation. You know, keeping the presentation extremely slow and extremely
lethargic.
Lethargic.
Yes, that's the word of January is lethargic.
Yeah. So if you got any other kind of lessons that you might have learned in January, hey, shoot them out there. Let's talk about them. Let's try to get the common knowledge is
sure.
Bring it out there.
Scott Bradshaw says, Mr. Crappie Qualifier, Red River, Pool 3-4, April 28th to 29th. Scott Bradshaw, you going to fish that? Let me know if you're going to fish it. Pool 3 and 4, that's some good fishing in 4, but I've never really fished 3.
Reggie Hillman.
Not right now.
Reggie Hillman, he's actually one of my cousins taking fishing. But this question comes in, when water temperature drops, should I go to a smaller jigs? I'll go for it, Dustin.
Yeah, my opinion for sure. When the water's dropping, I'm dropping the jigs with it, kind of way I look at it. When it rises, I get heavier. I always think when it gets colder, they want something smaller. They're not near as aggressive. And then when it starts warming up, you can get – I like to go as big as I can get away with because you can fish faster and cleaner with bigger jigs. But sometimes you got to slow it way down and get a smaller jig when the water temps start to drop.
You know, and it really goes to a lot of different patterns throughout the year, what you're doing. But I always kind of consider winter and summer having the same kind of patterns almost. And just like in the heat of the summer, I will downsize just about every day. And that's one of the keys that I've kind of noticed throughout the last couple of years with the aid of live sonar is going smaller during the summertime and then going back smaller during the wintertime.
Yeah.
So I would say, yes, it's a good starting point and then work your way up. And kind of like Dustin just said there, you know, we always try to get away with moving faster to cover more water, to cover more fish. And so if I can keep upsizing the jig size so I can move faster and possibly get those reaction a little bit quicker, I will upsize. But, my light. Hang on one second, guys.
Zeke Anderson, what's up, brother? I just seen that you just got in here for the river. Yeah. Man, if you were fishing with me, you did not miss much today. But hopefully, old Sasquatch will put you on them.
We got a YouTube question here. Water temp 58 in Lake City, Florida. Found them pulling jigs, hanging over treetops. Caught the first 2-pounder of the year. Hey, congratulations, Chris.
Heck yeah, congrats.
Man, that's awesome to hear. I like you guys still pulling jigs too.
Oh, Zeke said he just got on. I bet he's not at the Red River yet. That's my bad, Zeke.
There's Tim who comes back and answers Brad's question as well. And he's pretty much right in line with me. 0.9 to 1.2 for jigs and 1.4 to 1.8 for cranks.
Fair enough. Rooster, what's going on, brother? That's my nephew saying hi.
Let me cut that light out.
I ain't even. Oh, I see it flashing now. Somebody's
a little bit darker.
Shining you.
Yeah, my
Carlos,
little work light.
Carlos says not a good bite here, but the fish are looking great. I bet, man. They're just fattening up, but sooner or later that bite will be great, and those fish will be big. Just waiting. Lake Shelbyville, Illinois. We love January and the water is open. Big jig head and 2-inch tube works great in mid depths. Rick Barnes. Hey, I watch Matt England out there all the time. That's the only thing I know about Lake Shelbyville, and it looks like he whacks them a lot with a bigger jig too. So it's different out there in the winter, in my opinion. Them fish are used to that cold weather.
Scott from YouTube, he says, are either of you using crappie brakes in your boat? If so, any tips to better utilize them?
You got brakes on yours?
I do not. Now, if I strictly live scoped, I would. I've been in several boats that have them, and I definitely think they are an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about boat control. And, the biggest thing that I can see they would come into play is whenever you're having a fish and you're kind of following them and they stop. Instead of having to turn your trolling motor around and blow back over them, you can just pull directly back.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with that. I'm with him on my tournament. The tournament when I fish with Ken, his boat has trolling motors on it because we kind of go fast and try to stop on these fish. But my guide setup doesn't yet, but I will get trolling motors on it just because I'm getting so spoiled with these set up on Ken's boat. But trolling motors are a game changer. But if you don't want to go with trolling motors and deal with that headache, those drift paddles on your power poles are just as good if you learn how to use those just to stop you. I mean, you can't back up, but if you stop in time, it'll slow you way down and your boat will slowly move instead of just gliding across the water. Glass boats, they just keep on moving, it feels like, when you're going.
Hey, Charles, what's up? He's telling Reggie. Reggie, can kind of give a little backstory to that. Reggie Hillman, he commented a few minutes ago, he's a cousin of mine, and his father actually was one of the first guys to take me crappie fishing when I was probably 8, 9 years old. So,
wow.
Shout out to that.
Zeke, I'll be looking forward to seeing you, brother.
Yeah, Zeke.
Scott Bradshaw's wanting to borrow my boat, my guide rig for the stump field. Yeah, oh. Let me tell you, the stumps get unbelievable back here on the Red River. So you would need something that you're not scared of poking a hole in if you're wanting to go crazy.
Also, I'm going to bring up, and we'll go back and we'll hit some more today's reports on you guys. Grizzly jigs this week. Give us a shout out here if you're going. It starts this Thursday, and they're going to run it all the way through Sunday. And I can go ahead and tell you, I don't know how many years in a row I've been going now. But if you can go to Grizzly Jig this week, you definitely want to go. There's going to be some great fishermen there and tons of seminars from the beginning to the very end of these seminars. I have a seminar scheduled for Saturday. I believe it's at 3 p.m. And more than likely, I will talk about long lining and probably a little bit of everything. But also, I'll give a shout out and a heads up. I'm bringing a bunch of my Crappie Connection caps. So if anybody that is subscribed to YouTube and Facebook, I will give you a free Crappie Connection cap while I've still got supplies with them. And I've got over 100 caps to bring. And this is just a little appreciation to our subscribers and especially you guys getting on here. So if you're making plans to go to Grizzly Jig, make sure you come up to me, my son Hunter, just about anybody to know where to find us. And if you're a subscriber to both of these channels, hey, you get to take home a Crappie Connection cap. I wear them every day. I like them. Hopefully you will too. But that's just a little appreciation that I want to do. And Hunter, just for you guys being great fans, and we couldn't do this without you and all these great sponsors. And definitely a shout out to Bobby Garland for, coming up with this deal for us.
Dang right. Yeah, shout out to Bobby Garland for sure. And also, he's going to be giving free hugs from me since I won't be able to be there. If y'all give him a hug for me,
Hunter's going to do the hugging.
He's passing that on from me, guys. So he likes it neck to neck, a solid, good squeeze, and he'll let me know who gives him those, so that way I can pass it on. Appreciate you all.
I hear you.
Dakota Griffin says, "Where's the best place to buy a boat, and does anyone have a spare room for when I buy it?" That's a good one, man.
You know how I always say about something like that, and my wife might be watching, I'm not sure, but it's always better to ask for forgiveness than permission. I'm sure some of you other guys will chime on that one, but that's always my way of thinking is ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm no marriage counselor either, so you might not listen to me either.
Hey, but you got a boat, don't you?
I do have a boat.
That's right.
Russell Gates, he's heading that way tomorrow. Tim,
Russell Gates
John
is
Mayo, Jim. Yeah, Hunter is definitely a guitar player. We'll be
Hunter is
staying.
the hug master.
Yeah, he's a hugging guy too. But if anybody knows, Hunter will be bringing a guitar, and he will play guitar all night long as the hotel allows where we're staying at. I know Tim and numerous other guys that's always there with us will testify. Hunter loves to play guitar anywhere we go, so he definitely will be there.
John Gathright. Hey, John, he's from Millwood. Let's get a Millwood update. I ain't heard nothing about Millwood in a while. John, let's hear what they're doing. I see.
The Millwood guys been quiet.
Yeah, everybody's keeping Millwood a little quiet on us. Probably catching giants.
Pool party. Tim says it. Yep, we've had a few pool parties up there. And I'm just flat out being honest with you guys. Grizzly Jig is definitely the event that everybody that goes to looks forward to every single year. It is an absolutely blast. You get to meet a lot of good fishermen, catch a lot of good deals, and it's just a happening place if you're into crappie fishing in my mind.
Now, John Gathright, his update on Millwood is rising fast. He's trained right.
John Brendan's wanting to do darts. I don't know about darts. We used to go to the casino up there at Grizzly, but that didn't work out the last time we went. We probably had a little bit too much fun, but I can't wait to see everybody up there. And like I said, if you're going to be at Grizzly Jig and you've got the subscribing down on your end, hey, I've got you the cap on my end. And if I don't, I'll mail you one if I run out. How about that even? I'm kind of go back. Chad Rogers is going to be up there.
Yeah, I just saw that. Zeke's telling John Gathright not to say a word.
Come on, John, man, spill the beans. Don't listen to Zeke. Hey, Justin's, he's going to be there. He can give us some good reports. I can't wait to meet this guy. He's a TikTok kind of guru. He hits them all the time, and we're going to do some fun things with him up there as well at Grizzly. Got some really cool shows that I'm going to do while I'm up there, and I can't wait to do them. Send mine by Dustin. Dustin ain't going to be there.
Yeah, I ain't going to be there, brother. Unfortunately, I'm going to be here at the Red River, also rising fast, flooded. So far, my fishing report is no good for it, but hopefully next Tuesday I'll have a lot better report for y'all on that.
Yeah.
But so far, I'm getting my tail whooped. Today, I don't even want to tell you how bad it went. The weather was raining, freezing cold.
That seems to me my tournament history is always one of the things is you can just about count on some bad weather.
For sure. Yeah, today separate the men from the boys, and if it tells you anything, me and Ken left a little early.
Hey, Robin from Kentucky, man, we appreciate you coming on here tonight. You're not that far, so you should definitely be able to come over to the Grizzly Jig this weekend and visit us.
Chad Wright needs a Crappie Connection hoodie. Yes, you do, Chad. Them things are nice. I do too, actually. I've got the summer one, but I think I need a hoodie as well.
Chad, are you coming over? He can answer that. If he's coming on over to Grizzly Jig, let me know. Shoot me a message.
Yeah, those hoodies are only, what, $250?
You're right.
Come on over, Chad.
Dustin's got them.
Oh, man.
But it's going to be a great time. Like I said, it's so many different people going to have seminars, a wealth of knowledge under that building at that point. You cannot go wrong.
Zeke said Wesley caught 17 pounds on that river today. Super easy. Zeke, I'm not talking about the Gasper Goose in the drum, brother. I'm talking crappie. No, hey, honestly, it would not surprise me. He's a little sandbagger. He'd probably sandbagging on me.
Yeah, Jason Dudley, he's going to be up there Friday through Sunday. I can't wait to see you, Jason. You know, I might be tied up here and there with podcasts in the back, but we will be there, and I'll make sure to have somebody up there that can give you guys caps out. So definitely take advantage, and I cannot thank everybody enough coming on here every night.
Chris Collins is ready for some global warming to show up. I hear you, brother.
All right, we got a question from YouTube. We'll go ahead and spit that out. Sean White, when fishing hand ties, do you prefer Malibu tail or hackle tail? Dustin?
Oh, man, good question. Honestly, they both have a place, in my opinion. You know, I like a stiffer tail sometimes, and then the Malibu gives a little action too. So there's neither one I prefer more than the other, I guess. But I guess if I had to pick, I'd say hackle instead of Marabou. But that's just me. I think it's a personal opinion, what you have confidence in, same type of deal. They all have different presentations.
Yeah, I would say the same thing, is just let the fish kind of tell you what they want, if they want one over the other. I believe the hackle has a little bit smaller profile. So I think that might be the only big differences I see between the two.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes Chad Rogers with it.
Yeah, I seen that. What are the thoughts on crappie limit or size change on smaller lakes like Washington or Eagle? Lakes without rivers to replenish populations. Man, I would be on board with that. I'd be on board with big time changes, like worse than they probably are doing, just because we can go catch messes of crappie anywhere. This
365, pretty much.
Yeah, this day and age, we can go catch a crappie anywhere. And if we want to fill a freezer, we can go anywhere and catch a freezer full of fish. So why not go to places to catch your fish to go in the freezer on places that can replenish, that are overpopulated, that we need to, as sportsmen, take fish out instead of taking them from places that are hurting or don't have places feeding into it. So I would definitely, I'm on board for limit changes as strong as they want to make it.
Yeah, you know, I'm the same way. I believe in the guys from Crappie Forever. Shout out to them. And I think that, especially like you said, the smaller bodies of water, you know, we got to leave it up to our Department of Wildlife, but to manage those. But also, I think it's up to us fishermen to do our part on that same scenario. Lake Washington, you brought that one up. I've got a cabin on Lake Washington. That's, in my opinion, in one of the most gorgeous places to take people fishing. And I will not be guiding there this spring for the number one simple fact: I believe the lake is hurt. It costs me money not to guide there. But in turn, my belief is that the lake is hurt, so I'm not going to do anything else to damage it.
Maybe in the future you'll get all that back.
Maybe so, and I hope so. And also another thing that I've done is our Department of Wildlife here in Mississippi, I'll reach out to them. I'll let them know what I see. I not text them, but I email them. Last time I fished Lake Washington, I sent an email and sent them exactly what I saw for the day, in my opinion, on there. So I think that you've got to have your own communication set up with your Department of Wildlife. If you've seen something happen on a body of water that you're on, make sure you express it to your Department of Wildlife and Fisheries. Yeah. Let them know what you see. And that way they have their opportunity to go after it and do something about it, and maybe make your own personal decision not to fish that lake as much. That's my opinion on that. I'm not a biologist. I just know what I see in my boat and what I've seen through the years. So that's where I stand. Crappie Forever. Peace it out.
Zeke came in another question here. He said, what do you guys think about using live bait on national tournament trails? Zeke, for now, I would love some live bait this week, but no, I think it's good for all companies and stuff. You know, minnows don't, you know, help the crappie industry very much, in my opinion. So if you're for tournament anglers, now normal anglers just going to catch a mess of fish. If they need minnows to go because they only get to go once a weekend, your everyday fishermen, they should be able to use minnows as much as they want. But for tournament, I think it equals the playing field and makes you find the right baits that work, makes you use more baits and stuff like that. I'd say I like no live bait. Everybody's different though.
Yeah, I've been saying it for years. Of course, and you guys probably heard me say it before, is I very rarely use live bait. And I always thought that would be the best tournament path as far as organizations would be to use artificials. I got some more.
Yeah. So what do you, Old Rooster, my nephew, asked the biggest fish I've caught this year. I have caught, my biggest fish was, I have no idea what exactly it was, but I bet in the 260, 70 range. But there's been a 3-pounder caught. It just wasn't me.
Yep. Oh, Jerry Hancock. I can't tell what he is. What is that, laughing face, Jerry?
Bo.
Yeah, Jerry. No, Jerry, I just seen on Facebook. You're stopped over there in Arkansas.
Oh, he sent a laughing face on Zeke's comment where he said Wesley caught 17 pounds of fish.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
All right, David, he's got a question here.
Yeah.
What wind speed are you most comfortable fishing in?
I'd say 5 to 10.
I say 3 to 6.
Yeah.
I like that light wind. Just
That's
a small chop on the water. No matter what.
Phrase that 0 to 10.
I'd say 0 to 5.
Yeah.
I like a light wind.
I hear you.
Just because you can fish any style you want to at that point.
I agree.
So I love light wind. Of course, we're going into the spring season, and spring is notorious for high winds. So you've got to be able to fish in these high wind conditions because you're going to have them if you're going to crappie fish a lot.
Yeah.
And it might be just trying to look at a map and see what location of a lake you could fish. But, I love a light wind.
Here's a question from Jason. Quick question. Is the Garmin 34 transducer worth the money for the upgrade or stick with my old one? Yep. I'm using both. Ken actually has the new one on his tournament rig he's got. And I like it because everything's a little clearer to me. But I don't know if I'd spend the money on the newer one if it wasn't just a necessity and you weren't, competing and getting crazy with it. You're just wanting to go catch fish. My guide setup does not have a new transducer, and I probably will not switch to a new transducer because there's really no reason to, unless you want to just crisp it up that much more. And everything's a little tighter. Putting the bait on fish is just a little bit tighter cone and stuff. So I'd say just stay with the old one unless you're wanting to, get crazy with it.
I own both of them. I have the 32 and the 34. And I guess back in the early summer, I switched to 34 just to kind of really give a feel of what I thought about it. And I used it for 3 months. And the biggest advantage that I saw with a 34 is being able to spot fish
further out.
Yep. 60,
I agree
80 feet further out. I think I could spot them easier.
Oh, man, for sure.
My disadvantage over the 34 compared to the 32 is I couldn't size the fish as well. Once I got them to that 25 or less.
Yeah.
There was a lot of times I'd pull up and be like, all right, this is a really good fish, taking a pound and a half plus.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he would hook and bring it up, and I was like, man, I think they must have hooked the wrong fish or something because I was thinking it was a lot bigger fish than this.
And
it was actually pretty small.
Really big crappie, we call them scouts, but they'll have one little one with them sometimes. You'll put that dang bait down there, and that little one out of that big giant, and there'll be a little crappie. That little one will go up there and wreck it. It's kind of the funny thing you said. Maybe that's a different fish. Sometimes it does happen.
I got a question from YouTube. Spirit of the Outdoors. I don't live scope, so you guys that do you think that fish run from the boat consistently in shallow depths, all depths, or not as much as some of us think?
I would say it's not as exaggerated as some of us think. I mean, we go over a lot of fish. So it just depends on the lake and the scenario, the weather and pressure and all that. Some days they'll be running, and some days they'll be sitting still. You run your boat right over them, could hit them with your rod, and they hardly move. So depends on the scenario.
You know, what I would say even about that is, and the guys that I took fishing today, I think one of them asked me one of the things I've learned from using live sonar. And in my mind, in my opinion, one of the biggest things that I've seen and noticed, and I noticed it today even, is we spook way more fish than we catch. And that can be from stepping too heavy on the dock lids, the deck lids, to an aerator cutting on, to a bilge pump cutting on, from knocking a pole on the deck, to any kind of noise that you're going to shoot vibration in the water. I have really noticed more fish spook than I ever realized. And just by easing a boat up to a brush pile and you shoot a shadow up on that brush pile before you get there, or even a suspended fish, that shadow of a boat will spook a fish.
I agree.
So that's one of the things that I notice as far as the spookiness of fish.
Oh, Scott Mercer asked what the best fluorocarbon line is for single pole jigging. Scott Mercer, I found a few that are good. Suffix and that P line works really well for me, but there's so many different brands out there. You can try them, but those two right there, I've tried a lot of them, and those two brands work pretty well for me.
We've got some different opinions coming up, and that's, hey, you know, that's all it's about. I know Tim says that the 34 is better for him for his style of fishing, much better target separation.
Which fish is my favorite to eat? Rooster, my favorite fish to eat is all fish. They ain't no bad fish for me. I like them all.
Kyle Davis, I'm not answering that question. I know where you're suckering me in that one. That's pretty good, though. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
That's good. Hey, say it.
Yeah,
though.
That's a good one. I read it, and I definitely appreciate it.
Oh my
no,
gosh,
I'm not going to say it.
You've got it. Listen.
No.
Listen, Brad.
No.
You got to say it.
No, I'm not.
Kyle Davis, that was good, brother.
That was a good one. I'll give him that. I'm not going to say it, though.
Hey,
Matt,
come on.
No, I'm not.
Hey,
Leslie.
Listen, Brad. I've heard you say it like probably 4 times. All 4 times have been said the same exact way, too. I want to see you overcome it and say it the right way.
I will practice next week and say it. How about that?
You'll be ready next live, won't you?
Next week I'll do it.
Dang it, that is funny.
Matt, he's asking what sunglasses and lens color are best for watching live scope. You know, I've been using Hook and Bullet for the last year, and I cannot be more pleased with these sunglasses. And I use them every single day, regardless if I'm looking at a live scope or I'm looking out my truck windows or I'm riding a lawnmower or whatever I'm doing. I'm going to use my Hook and Bullets. And I'm going to tell you another thing why I really like Hook and Bullet. Not because I think they're extremely high quality and very good, but probably the biggest thing is they support the crappie industry. And I believe us as crappie anglers, we need to really identify which companies are supporting the crappie industry and support these businesses. And Hook and Bullet is a 100%. They've been a sponsor for the Crappie Connection, I know, for 2 years now, hopefully 3. But those guys support the crappie industry in every fashion that they go with. So my hat's off all. If you're a crappie fisherman and you want a pair of sunglasses, I highly recommend Hook and Bullet. Quality, plus they support the crappie industry. Very important.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Hook and Bullet.
And I'm still that was good, Scott. I mean, I really.
You talking about Kyle Davis's?
Yeah, that's just. I'm not going to say it though.
Dang it, man, that's good. I say you say it just to try. So
I'm not going to do it.
Say, hey, welcome to Big Sasquatch Outdoors. Come on,
No,
you got it, brother.
I'm not. Yep, John, they will be at Grizzly Jig Show. That's right. So great time to buy some. I know they've got some good giveaways. Don't even laugh no more.
Oh gosh.
They've got a very cool promotion going on. Them and Crappie Magnet and B&M's got a really cool promotion going on.
These fish got me going stir crazy.
John Breland, my grandpa always said whisper a question to me, and he always caught them at 3-prong. I know what he's talking about. That's another Ross Barnett area. It's a fantastic area on the reservoir, actually.
Chad Rogers asked what GFB stands for. God-fearing brothers, Chad. That's what she stands for. GFB Outdoors, God-fearing brothers. Because at the end of the day, that's what we all are. Some sisters in there, but I didn't add that part.
Tomorrow's podcast we're coming out with, we got the Outlaw Boys. And it's a phenomenal. If you ever know of Whiteley or Matt, both those guys, great fishermen. Todd is on the podcast with us, and we had a great time talking with them. It's going to be a really good podcast. You do not want to miss it. Can't wait to some reactions. And I don't know if they're going to be at the Grizzly Jig Show or not, but if they are, you definitely want to go up and meet those guys and listen to the podcast before you get there. You might have some really good questions I ask you.
Speaking of the podcast in Grizzly Jig, Kyle Davis will be going to Grizzly. He said he'll be seeing you Saturday, so you'll be having to get him at the Grizzly.
Yeah, I'm about to get him on it. That's a good one, though.
Yeah, give him that hug. That he needs to become getting you that hug. If you guys give Brad a free, go up to a hug, mention this video, and give him a hug. He gives you a free hat. That's what he was saying earlier. This video, you guys look back.
Man, that's about all I got for this week, Dustin. You ready for this tournament down there or what?
Dude, not even close, but hopefully the next 2 days we pull something out of the hat because, guys, we're struggling. Like I said, though, we didn't go super hard today. We looked just a couple spots, piddled. Tomorrow, 100% chance of rain all day. So, and I think it's probably going to be high 30s again. So today or tomorrow, we're going to have to be bundled up, and we can't slow down. We got to check. I mean, I've got to run all day long till we can't no more because if we want a shot at this tournament, it's going to be whoever grinds, checks the most ground, and finds the right fish.
Some of you guys, go ahead. Some of these guys down there, give us a prediction on some winning weights in these comments. I like to know what these.
Man, yeah. Some of you guys as Red River guys give some. If it was up to me today, it'd be 0 pounds takes home that trophy. We'll be flipping a coin to see who's going home with it. Oh man.
But
what's your favorite fishing spot name? His is Welfare Hole.
Kent. Yeah, that's where I fished today, Kent. It's a great spot on the reservoir.
I figured he said that because he heard you say it.
Probably so, and I think he wants to make sure everybody on Barnett's down there for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to rain, and I'll be at Grizzly all weekend. So, yeah, you guys go get them. That's where they're at.
Hey, thanks, John, for the good luck, brother. I'm going to need it. We're going to get after it. 12 pounds a day, Jerry? Golly, brother, you're probably right is what hurts is you're probably right. Because I've seen some people through the grapevine have got them. Some people caught a couple 2-pounders today, I guess. So, yeah, Zeke Henderson said 20 pounds, duh. No, hey, we'll see.
What was yours, Dustin? What's your prediction?
I think 12's pretty sharp. Jerry's on to something there with 12. I think if somebody gets 7 over the 150-pound mark, they're doing pretty dang good. So I'm thinking around the 12-pound mark is good. It took that 2 falls ago maybe, or one. I think 2 falls ago it took 11.5 pounds. And these fish are going to be fatter right now. So it'd be 12, 12.5, 2 days in a row. And I haven't found them yet, so. It's hard. That's part of it, though.
Hey, guys, like always, make sure you subscribe. Share the videos. Tag some buddies that, hey, might want to listen to us sometime. Got some questions that they asking you. Hey, say, I ain't ask them guys on today's bite, Crappie Connection. We'll be glad to answer as much as possible. And I can tell you, some of the guys that we've got joining on in our comments, if we can't answer them, these guys on here will be able to answer them with us.
Right.
We've got some, as the terminology, sticks that even come in and dusting.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate you all. This is a blast. As usual, we'll be seeing you next Tuesday, 7 o'clock.
p.m.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Appreciate you guys very much.
Yeah. Like, subscribe. But until next time, you got Brad Chappell. Holla.
Dustin, holla. I'm in Louisiana now. It worked.
Yeah, it did.